I will pray for you, but if you get on my nerve, I will cuss you smooth out. My mouth ain't under control yet, and I can throw these hands. And let me tell you something, if I get my hands on you, I promise you, you gonna know you've been in a fight. But I'm trying not to go there because I'm in transition.
What I'm on here for about is Queen Shiiba.
Say that louder now, because we don't get to hear that often. Say it louder. I think you are very open-minded about a lot. I think you haven't had an opportunity to experience a conservative relationship. Hold on. And if and when you do, come back and talk to me. Yeah.
What you don't realize is that you don't listen, man.
I don't have to. You're not my daddy. Listen. Happy Sunday, everybody. All right. Thank you for your patience. I had to grab the last of the transcripts. I want to shout out to my moderators for helping me with all of the things behind the scenes. Somali Queen came in at the clutch. Because listen, as sharp as I am with commentary, everybody has a deficit. Man, when it comes to technology, your girl is not that good with technology. Listen. So I had to wait for that to come through. Thank you, Somali Queen. Thank you, Linda Gamble. Thank you, Toot Latrice, for all you do over here. So we got that, right? And I'm coming up the elevator. I'm like, man, we got to go. We got a panel. We got to talk about Diddy today. I get in my room. I forgot to turn on the do not disturb sign. And the lady is in here cleaning. And of course, I'm nice. I'm like, take your time. No worries. And here we are. So thank you, everybody. We are talking all things Diddy today. And we have a very small panel, and we're just going to give our thoughts. We're going to take questions. You can ask whatever you'd like to ask, and we're just going to go at it, okay? It's a Sunday session. I hope y'all have your mimosas, because I got mine. Etha G2G says, Queen, you have been doing a fabulous job on your Diddy Trial commentary. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. We are ready to jump in as a panel. As a matter of fact, you all, I'm going to drop the link. If you're not part of the panel, I'm going to ask that you not click the link yet. We want to make sure we give the panelists time to get in. So let me do that. And I am going to probably start with Jane Doe. Hold on. I'm going to start with Jane Doe. And just to bring you up to speed what's happening. Jane Doe is still testifying. So on tomorrow, when I go back to the courthouse, she will still be on the stand and testifying with direct examination from the government, the prosecution team. In between that time, let me update you. Diddy's defense team has yet requested a mistrial because Cassie's friend, Bonna, got on a stand and lied. Now, people have different reviews, different thoughts as it relates to Cassie's friend. I'll give you mine, and then maybe the panel will give you theirs. But let me ask you something. If Danielle, I can't take you yet, honey. Drop down, so let me tell y'all this. I'm dropping the link for the panel. So if you're not a part of the panel, I can't take you just yet, okay? I'll open up the lines to everybody else a little bit later. So that's Trey, Queen Tulsa, and also Unibu. So Danielle, I'm going to kick you out the studio, but not because I don't like you. Come back. I'm going to open it up to everybody else. But right now, it's just open for the panel. Okay, no problem. Everybody take your time. Panelists, take your time. So listen, so Diddy's defense team has requested their second request for a mistrial based on Cassie's friend's testimony, the girl who claimed that he hung her from a 17-story balcony. I'm going to say rightfully so. I'm going to say they're rightfully well within their right. based on what I saw, based on what I heard sitting in that courtroom myself, I'm sorry. I did not believe her. She was not credible as a witness. She could not outline what happened. Um, she did a horrible job on the behalf of the state. It was actually embarrassing because let me tell you something. If you are claiming that somebody hung you over a balcony and sexually assaulted you, and when you're asked to give the details, you can't remember, you don't recall, that doesn't fly. You got to be able to recall. You have to be able to tell the jury what happened. And unfortunately, she could not articulate that. And she lied about the sexual assault. She said it wasn't true. She said that Tyrone Blackburn, the previous attorney, watch this because somebody got in my chat. I think sometimes we hear what we want to hear, and then we turn off the television or we turn off the source and we say, okay, that's the part I needed. Yeah, she admitted under oath that it was not true that Diddy sexually assaulted her. And not only was it not true, she also admitted under oath that she was aware and she was made aware by the attorneys that in order for her to file a civil suit, she is asking for $10 million from Diddy. But she was made aware that in order to get that, you have to have a claim of sexual assault. She also testified under oath that she knew that attorney put that in her civil claim, even though it was not true. However, her defense for herself is she fired him because he placed false information in the civil suit. Okay, follow me very closely. So number one, you lied. Like, we're here today in the courtroom because you said he hung you over a balcony, and you're also claiming that he sexually assaulted you. When she initially took the stand, and the defense had their opportunity to cross-examine her, the one question they opened up with is, who determines today whether you are lying? Who gets to determine today if you are telling the truth? Her response is the prosecution. Her response was the prosecution gets to determine if I am telling the truth. Ma'am, no, the jury. The jury gets to determine. If, in my head, I'm like, the jury gets to determine. So when the defense opened up their cross-examination with that as their first question, I was like, oh my God, what are they building up to? There's something here, and they're about to unleash on her. And they did a hell of a job. She lied about being sexually assaulted. That put a really bad taste in my mouth, right? Sitting there as just somebody who's in the courtroom. So I couldn't help but to think, well, damn, if that put a bad taste in my mouth, I can only imagine what the jurors are thinking. Because if you would lie about sexual assault, what else would you lie about? If you would lie to get $10 million, you ain't to be trusted. I'm not messing with you. I'm sitting here. You put a bad taste in my mouth because surely you know the difference between right or wrong. Surely you understand the gravity of this case, and you decided to move forward with this anyway, knowing that it's not true. Oh my goodness. So then so I gave her a point, right? I gave her a point. I'm like, well, at least she told the truth when she said, I was aware that my attorney put false information in my civil suit against Mr. Combs and stated that Mr. Combs sexually assaulted me when it wasn't true. She then went on to say, and I fired him. And I said, okay, I got to be open. She did the right thing. And then they asked her, you got new attorneys, correct? That's correct. And you are aware of what they stated on your behalf in a lawsuit. She said, yes, I am. They go, but you didn't fire them when they said you were sexually assaulted, because they said the same and made the same accusations and claims against Mr. Combs, the same ones that Mr. Blackburn did, but you didn't fire them. And is it true? Yes, she does have immunity, but you're only protected by immunity if you tell the truth. If you tell the truth, right? And unfortunately, she was caught in a lie about that balcony incident. I'm starting with the sexual assault, right? because that's important, especially to us as women, right? That's what most of us are here for. Like, listen, all of the crazy things that the women are claiming that he did to them sexually. So most of us are like, listen, we're advocating, we're pushing, something needs to be done. We're opening up the floor for dialogue for us to all chime in. And then I'm like, damn, you lied about that? Girl, that is a very serious accusation. That is extreme. That is nothing to play with. And I just don't know if this generation is built differently or if they're just null and void of all emotions and they take nothing serious, right? So then we come to find out that not only did she lie, she continued to lie. She continued to repeat the accusation, although it was not true. Although it was not true. That is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. I don't care if it's Diddy. I don't care if it's a janitor. Listen, I'm all about justice. I'm all about retribution, but you cannot lie. You cannot decide just because you want to wake up one day and you decide that you deserve $10 million because your homegirl got 30, right? Cassie, in my opinion, listen, I ain't mad at it. She went through some things. She went through some things, you know? And even though Cassie took the stand and testified under oath that she gave her full consent for the free calls, she still went through some things from a domestic violence perspective. Now, Cassie also received immunity because although she did go through some things, she also put other people through some things. You get what I'm saying? She broke the law in many ways, in many ways. So now your homegirl is very well aware. Y'all, they showed text messages, what appeared to be them orchestrating this big grand extortion. They're trying to corroborate the story. Who can we get to say they were there? No, don't use this person. She's not going to help. I kid you not. And then that's when I was like, in some aspects, damn, Cassie, you about that life. You a little gangster. You're a little gangster. Now, Cassie did draw the line in the sand when she was communicating with her friend, and her friend said, talk to her about the balcony. Cassie did say, no, I did not see him do that to you. I didn't see that. I didn't see him put you over no balcony, but that was in their private conversations, if that makes any sense. However, Cassie still assisted her friend in lying based on what was revealed in the courtroom. Okay. So I was a little shocked. I don't know. I shouldn't have been, but I guess I am. And that's why I have to admit, and I have to really be honest with y'all, that I did walk into the courtroom with the bias. I did walk into the courtroom wanting them to nail him to the cross, period, point blank, based on, let me tell you what I was basing it on, that video that I saw of Cassie being physically beat at the Intercontinental Hotel. You know, I didn't care about nothing else. I walked in that courtroom. I'm like, yeah, you know, hand it to him. But as things are starting to be revealed, I have to challenge myself to say, girl, this is about justice. This is about legal processes, due processes. This has nothing to do with your emotions. She didn't lie. You don't feel like, okay, what did she not lie about? I have the transcript. How come she couldn't recall? How come her metadata, the day she claimed that she was hung over the balcony, the metadata stated that that could not be true. The day she claims that she was hung over the balcony, which was September 26th, according to court, right? I'm challenging all of you to take your feelings out, period, point blank. According to the evidence, digital, physical evidence, she stated September 26th, 2016. Remember, she tested before she even came to be on trial, you guys. She's worked with the feds. This girl had over 7 meetings with the feds. And the day she was on the stand, she had a meeting that day. So they had ample amount of time to nail the dates. You know, it's not like she didn't know she was coming to court. It's not like she came without legal representation. It's not like she did not have the prosecution in her meetings, her attorneys in her meetings, for them to comb through every single piece of proof that she had to substantiate her claims, right? But at the end of the day, y'all, I'm sorry, The metadata showed that Mr. Combs could not have hung her over the balcony on that day because he was indeed in New York. He was in New York from September 24th to September 29th. So it was a shit show with this witness, unfortunately. I was open. I don't know this girl. I have no preconceived notion about her one way or the other. But I'm telling you, sitting in that courtroom, I wish they would have worked with her. If she was hung over the balcony, she could not prove it. She didn't have the evidence to support it, unfortunately. And it was not a win for the prosecution, which has now led to Diddy's defense team requesting a mistrial, rightfully so. Because if you're going to walk in there, your answer cannot be, and maybe it did happen, I don't know. But based on what we have to go on from a legal standpoint, being in the courtroom, her being able to recant, this happened, that happened, this happened, her testimony conflicted her testimony with the federal government, right? And even when the prosecution came back after the defense's cross-examination to try to help her out, because I'm still open, right? People make mistakes all the time. Even when they came back to try to help her out and asked her, can you recant? Can you recall? Can you tell us anything about being hung over that balcony? And she simply stated, I cannot remember. I can't remember. Is that enough? So I'm just, no, that for me, that's not enough, right? If I'm a juror, if I'm sitting in a courtroom and if I am tasked with the responsibility of, now, if I am tasked with the responsibility of putting somebody behind prison, I'm not saying he deserves it or he doesn't. I'm saying the way we cover this over here is based on what comes out of the witness's mouth on the stand in real time. And I challenge everybody over here. Y'all forget everything that the public is talking about. Forget what you think you know. Forget what you don't know. Let's just listen in real time. And that's let me tell you something. That requires a lot of discipline, a lot of self-awareness. That requires you to get out of your head and sometimes to pull back from social media and say, I cannot listen to anybody else. Because a lot of what I'm seeing out here on social media is not true. It's simply not true. But that doesn't make these people bad. It's just they've chosen which angle, which road they want to take, and they're sticking to it. Me personally, I'm not here to judge anybody. I just challenge myself to be open in the courtroom so that I can learn some things and get to know a little bit about not only the people on the side of the state, but also the defense. Indigenous girl says that incident is not a part of the charges. It's not, but she's taken to stand, but she's also a witness on the behalf of the state, right? To create history and a timeline of him being a monster. And for me, my expectation is when you take the stand and when you agree to come in and you're asking for $10 million, you need to make it make sense. You don't just get to do what you want because that's what you want. You don't get to operate outside of the processes and what's expected of you, right? You just don't. And I do recognize that this is a very tender and emotional case for a lot of people. However, we've got to be able to sit, listen, hear, ask ourselves thought-provoking questions, think out, not out loud, because I can't think out loud because I'm in a court, but just think, okay, make it make sense. Come on, you don't remember? Damn. And they were reading her interview with the government. What she said that day on the stand did not match what she told the federal agents. It didn't match. None of it. It didn't make sense. And I'm going to give her, I don't know if the young lady is struggling or is challenged with substances. I don't know. Allegedly. But if she is, maybe that's why there's some inconsistencies. And listen, I'm being as nice as possible. I'm being as nice as possible right now. Now, I may warm up and get a little bit more direct as we move through, right? Some of this stuff, but I'm being as nice as possible. She was not able to help. She was actually a hindrance on that side on the behalf of the government. Now, let me tell you who was able to help the prosecution team. That security guard from the Intercontinental Hotel. Because if we're thinking about RICO charges, to me, he gave the prime example. And also, he established KK, Christina Coram, as a co-conspirator, right? She out here moving. Christina out here moving like Teresa Mendoza, baby. And from here on out, we're going to start calling her KK Mendoza. You know what? You say, yeah, maybe they will strike her testimony. They're going to have to do something because it was bad. And it also gave the defense hey, listen, it gave them an opening to be able to request a mistrial be declared. Because you cannot lie under oath when you receive immunity. You don't want to be lying in there anyway. But if you purposely lie to a federal agent, that's a crime. And I think the prosecution realized that they were going to have a tough time with her based on the number of times that she met with them. I believe they were trying to handle her very tenderly and prep her as much as possible. And unfortunately, it didn't work. She still was not prepared. She really wasn't. Not in that sense. And it could be because of her. Dre says, how do you not recall? But you told the Fed your lawyer, right? That's what I'm saying. And at one point, she busted out laughing on the stand. And I felt bad for her because I'm like, sweetheart, that's a bad place to be in, to not tell the truth. And when I tell you the courtroom is stone cold silent, I want to let you know what these people are up against. You can hear a pin drop. That's how quiet it is with everybody listening. So there's a lot of pressure there to tell the truth. You don't want to come in there shucking and jiving and just saying things because it sounds good and y'all rehearse this at home. It's a completely different experience to go on that witness stand and have to recall and sit there for hours and hours and hours and hours at a time. And I'm going to tell you this straight up. The truth does not need rehearsal. The truth does not need rehearsal. And so far, based on the evidence and the facts presented in the court, she's the only witness that met with the government that amount of times. Everybody else once, maybe twice. This happened. That happened. Okay, thank you for coming. With her, it was an obscene amount of times that she had to meet with the feds and with the government. Soul Cosmic said the strategy is to focus on victims not being perfect. It takes attention away from the real issue, which is what Diddy did. Oh, no, they're presenting everything that Diddy did. Now, you have to remember, I'm telling you that this is what her own team, the home team questioning her. She still couldn't get it right. I understand. I think you're talking about the strategy of the defense, but the ball is being dropped on the side of the prosecution because these girls I'm sorry. It's not hook, line, and sink. In the prosecution, let's talk about Jane Doe. The prosecution haven't even handed off Jane Doe to the defense yet. Not yet. So what I'm talking about is even when her team tried to help her, she looked at them and said, I don't remember. And that's why they're filing for a mistrial, because they're accusing, the defense team is accusing the state of, this girl was lying. And now you're down to the wire and you probably put that girl on the stand. They did against her will. That girl wanted to focus on her civil case. Okay. She did not want to be a witness for the state, but the immunity was evoked. So she had to come up there. You could tell she didn't want to be there. Now, I don't know if she did that to sabotage or what, but she was not even trying to help her own team, Soul Cosmic. And I hope that helps. And I think there's a lifestyle and a way of life in Hollywood where you just don't want to be up there talking about stuff. Listen, not only that. So this girl was still talking. Y'all, they breaking all kind of rules. Baby, the sophistication of the government, you can't tell me they can't find these missing kids. You can find what you want to find, because guess what? They knew she was texting other witnesses that had testified before her. When I tell you there's a whole circle of them that are working together to get this money, it was revealed in court that this girl's having conversations with witnesses They're comparing notes. This girl's talking to Cassie. She started before Cassie filed her lawsuit. Cassie gave this girl, Banna, and Mia a heads up on what was going down, how much she was going to ask for. At first, Cassie sent a demand letter. So that's one trend I'm noticing with all of, and they're all friends. These are not separate victims. When I say separate, women that had these are all friends. This is a friend group. I didn't know that. Why is that important? I think every detail is important, right? I didn't know that Cassie, Mia, and Banna are all friends. I had no idea. But you say, okay, why is it important? Because we need to know everything about everybody. Now, some stuff I don't want to know what Diddy did. They're nailing his ass to the cross too, right? They're playing video. Some of that stuff was sealed so we couldn't see. At one point, I do remember with Mia, she put on headphones and listened to the audio to watch a video, right? Some of that they don't want us to see. Some of those documents and videos and digital evidence has been sealed, rightfully so, because I'm like, I don't need that type of trauma, right? So I do think justice needs to occur, but also I believe that if you're going to take the stand, it's up to you to show up and tell the truth. You have to tell the truth, right? Period, point blank. Anon says, let me read this one. Anon says, rumors spread like wildfire. A lot of this was spread intentionally. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I've been in the courtroom all week. And first of all, thank you all for making it possible for me to get into the courtroom. For those of you that have donated, everything costs. You don't just get into that courtroom. I have to pay line holders. They only give up 14 seats for the public, right? You're lucky if you get one. I'm talking about people will probably start getting in line today about 4 or 5 p.m. 4 or 5 p.m. So thank you all for making it possible for me to get in there. And I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible. Every now and then, I'm going to give you my opinion, period. I'm going to say, listen, I think she's lying based on her testimony. But after walking out of the courtroom one day, I'm going to be honest with y'all. A major media outlet told y'all a bold-faced lie. I saw it. And I was like, that's not what happened. But I'm recognizing how the game is played. And I was so taken back that I actually typed in their chat, oh my God, you were there. Listen, that's not true. And then I recognized, girl, this is way bigger than you think. You better delete your comment. And I went back and I deleted my comment because I'm like, you up here, you know, you're not on that level. You don't know how the game is played. Sit back in your place and be quiet. Oh, Coupon Therapy said, Banna says she contacted Cassie after she heard about her lawsuit. She said she called to correct her about some details. Is that not true? So they were talking. What you mean after she heard? You mean, are you saying when it dropped, when the lawsuit, she knew about the lawsuit before it dropped. She knew about the lawsuit before it dropped. Cassie let her read the court. Cassie let her read the paperwork she was filing. So is that what are you talking about before? I am going to assume, Coupon, that you are asking about after the lawsuit dropped, correct? And if so, I do believe, if I have my transcripts, there's so many, I'm gonna have to go through them, but I do believe there was something that she called Cassie about, and they were going back and forth about being hung over the balcony. And Cassie, in that communication, said, I don't remember him doing that to you. Does that help, Coupon Therapy? All right. Oh, Trey's ready for the link. Okay, let's go ahead. Don't click the link. It's for Trey. All right. And let's get into, so Jane Doe, and I'm gonna be all over the place because I don't just want to just go through transcript and make it boring. I like to kind of put a little razzle dazzle. I keep it technical Monday through Friday, but it's Sunday. We're gonna sit back and relax and just listen. Y'all, he's still paying Jane Doe's rent. Now, I'm gonna have to be completely honest. As a woman, and this is for those of you that are tuned in, if this man has coerced you to do all these horrible things, and put you through all of these horrible things. My question for those of you that are tuned in, as a woman, he's locked up now. Why would you continue to engage with him? Depend on him financially, allow him to pay your rent. Why would you accept that type of support from him as a woman? Welcome, Queen Tulsa. What are your thoughts, Queen? Welcome. Queen Tulsa's here, y'all.
Listen, yes. Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you, panel, and thank you, audience, for receiving me. I feel like this is this is a case that is going to get very, very, very tricky. I know you had stated that, you know, Diddy's attorneys had filed their motion just yesterday to schedule for a mistrial. I really feel like Cassie, Mia, and Vanna, I feel like they getting themselves into some trouble. When you talk about this case and things being leaked like that, I don't think that this judge is going to be playing. I know a lot of people were saying that Diddy might get let off, but with all these lies, it's starting to make me scratch my head and say, you know, I'm not discrediting victims, but when you're not telling the truth and that, you know, you're over here tampering, it feels like not only Diddy allegedly was tampering with witnesses, it seems like Mia and Cassie was too. Mia, Cassie, and Vonnie, they were all working together. Those are my thoughts.
And they were, according to the testimony in court. And let me talk about real quick. And according to the text that they were able to get into their messages. Let me say this: I do believe victims deserve something. But you know, the number one question in my head as it relates to each and every one of these women, I can't help but to ask, and I'm curious to know. And man, if they could talk in private, I would say, how come you didn't tell the police after being hung over a balcony?
Exactly. Why didn't y'all come together and
Yes.
take it to the cops? I mean, first of all, y'all are white women, and in this society, y'all are believed before we are. On mute.
Because Bona didn't go to the police, and actually, y'all, when I tell you, man, the testimony was so explosive. Not only did Banna not go to the cops, she went to a damn Diddy concert after being allegedly hung over the balcony. I was shook, and I did make a facial expression, and I do know that the judge said not to, and I was like, girl, you better fix your face. I'm like, you took your ass to a Diddy concert, and she worked on the Millennial Bad Boy tour. And I don't understand. And maybe this is just a life and the complexities of Hollywood and the money that's attractive. But at some point, I'm sorry, I said, okay, ladies, you bear a responsibility to give yourself due diligence. You know, it's a lot. Cassie denied. The hotel wanted to call the police on Diddy. He can't do shit. Cassie didn't want them to. Okay. For whatever reason, Cassie didn't want them to. Banna didn't call the police. Nobody called the police. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I think it has a lot to do with access, the celebrity world. A lot of these women, I'm not saying that everybody is lying, but the big challenge, I think, for most of them was being axed out and not being in that circle. And what is starting to appear to be is that they would rather suffer in some way to gain or keep access to the life that they have become accustomed to. Trey, what are your thoughts? Welcome.
Hey, Queen, how you doing?
Hey, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Yes, it's happy. I finally got over that trauma that I went through watching that new Tyler Perry movie. But let me ask you this about this lady that got hung over the balcony allegedly, but not really. So she went to the Diddy party after, or the Diddy concert. Was it the Bad Boys reunion concert?
Yes.
So she might have wanted to go. Maybe she wanted to go see Lil' Kim, or maybe she wanted to go see Total, and 112. Maybe that was a thing. I don't know. But
Well,
I'm just trying to make it light because it's really crazy how all of this is just kind of turning out, because it was so much going on before the case. Now that the case is coming out, there's so many different holes that are being poked in the prosecution's case now, and I'm interested in how it continues to see how they're able to kind of fill those holes back up. Because when the feds come, it's always this idea that the feds have a clear cut, ironclad case, and we just assume that they're going to win. But
yeah.
this one has just kind of hit us with a 1-2, like, oh well, what are y'all really doing? You know.
And listen, I'm telling you, even the prosecution is having a hard time with their witnesses. Like there is so much damning behavior on the behalf of the women that the prosecution is having to. Hey, Eve, come back in a little bit, Eve. This is for panel only, but come back in a little bit, okay? And then I'm gonna take everybody else for those of you that want to come up. And this is like today, this is an open, but right now we're gonna start with the panel. And then I'm going to open it up for the public to come and let you ask your questions or share your quick opinion. It's going to be good, okay? Give us a few minutes. The prosecution is actually struggling, in my opinion. I'm going to tell you why. Betty Boop, you're saying, Queen, these women were introduced to drugs, and I think they all became dependent on them, and they knew Diddy had the money to keep them. No, I would probably say, based on what I can perceive, Cassie may be the only one that didn't have a drug use history. Cassie may have been introduced to drugs. The other women came with experience. Do y'all get what I'm saying, Queen Tulsa and Trey?
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
I definitely understand as well.
Okay, so I wanted to clear that up. I think it's very important that you do not put Cassie's story on the other women's story, because I think what's happening is Cassie has received justice. Cassie got her payout. She received $20 million, and she also received $10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel, and she should have, because they accepted a bribe from Diddy to get rid of the tape of a crime being committed against her. The way he handled her, that's domestic violence. That is a crime. And they hid the evidence and they prioritized him over her in that moment. Does that make sense? As it relates to domestic violence, they accepted pay, they made it go away. As it relates to the drugs, in my opinion, let's talk about facts. Diddy met Cassie when she was 19. He did not start dating her at 19.
Can I ask a question?
She was dating somebody else, another producer named Ryan. I just, it's so important. Does it take away from what happened? Absolutely not. Later on, he started dating her. I do believe she may have been 20 or 21, still young and impressionable. And I think he may have. I don't know if it's a fact. I'm just going to say, if anybody was introduced to drugs by Diddy, it was Cassie. The
Can I
rest,
ask a question?
sure.
Okay, with Cassie, did she specifically say that she was introduced to drugs by Diddy? Because I do know a slight piece of that history. As you were saying before, she came into the entertainment world with Ryan Leslie,
That's
and
correct.
not only was it Ryan Leslie, it was also the F ninjas over there on Love and Hip Hop New York. It was what's his name from Memphis.
And
All
Big
of them
T,
kind of
I
found.
forgot his name.
Yeah, the light skinned one. I can't remember his name. But he was a part of finding Cassie, because they all kind of hung together. And I know also Cassie was kind of like in the modeling world. Now I'm not saying that that was where she found it. I'm saying it.
Okay.
There's a high chance that she may have been introduced before she got to Diddy. But it
Okay,
just kind
so
of it might have ramped up once she got
okay.
with Diddy.
I think it may have, and I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. Because people are stuck on 19, 19, 19, and they are. And once people get stuck on a time or a number, it's very hard to get them to move with the evidence. I don't recall Cassie saying or stating that Diddy introduced her to drugs. I don't recall that. I'm just saying, if anybody got introduced to drugs, it wouldn't them older ones. If anybody, it would have been Cassie. Do I know that for a fact? No, because I don't recall her stating that matter of factly. There is a listen, there's a possibility. Y'all know kids that smoke weed or do a little something here and there. There's a huge probability that Cassie could have been recreationally, being in the industry now. It's hard to be in that industry and not get involved. Be not deceived. Evil company what corrupts good morals. So I'm just saying for the people in the chat, if anybody was introduced, the probability would be Cassie more than anybody. But I don't recall Cassie saying that. Tulsa, did you want to get in on that?
I want to say, yeah. And when we got to think about like when we were 19, were we just really out here making sound decisions like we are today? I feel like when you talk about the hip hop world and what we've seen, like Mayor said, maybe she wanted to go and see Lil Kim or Mary J. Blige, scoot around in her boots, but this is a lot, and it's going to take so many twists and turns, and I've said it before. This judgment is going to be an unpopular judgment, but I'm still here, I'm listening. And when we talk about Diddy and his hand in he had law enforcement on his payroll allegedly, so we have to take all of that into consideration.
That's a good point. I do believe if he had any type of what do y'all call it, mole in law enforcement, it wasn't. You got to remember, Diddy like to play his Diddy had his sandbox established in 3 areas that he'd like to play, maybe 4: Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and the 4th one I'm gonna give you is Turk and Caicos. Jane Doe said that place is really special to him, Turks and Caicos. Now that makes me watch this. That makes me very curious regarding what the fuck is going on in Turk and Caicos when it comes to sex trafficking or anything like that. You get what I'm saying? What is it that you can do or get away with in Turks and Caicos that you have help from them over there? Because she said that's Diddy rented out an entire villa at one point for Jane Doe the first time. So that was May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. 9 months after he met her. Watch this. And we're going to be all over the place. Jane Doe met Diddy in May of 2021. Okay. And I know some of y'all, I'm almost slipped because you're not supposed to. I can't say the name, even if y'all feel like y'all know it. That's the judge's orders. Okay. Let me see how I can say this. You know how, let me see without disclosing what I'm not supposed to. Let's just say y'all have an idea that a particular woman is attached to a particular man, and maybe that man don't get along with another man. So y'all feel like, he dated, let's just say hypothetically, y'all may feel like, a particular man dated a particular woman to piss off another man. No, I don't think that's true. Let me tell you why. I think the big thing that y'all are missing is Diddy was actually dating Jane Doe's homegirl when he met Jane Doe. How did he meet Jane Doe in Miami in May of 2021? He paid for his girlfriend at the time to have an all-girls trip. So she brought her homegirl. One of her homegirls was Jane Doe, in addition to other women. He didn't know who all was coming. He don't care who all's coming. That's his girl. And him and Jane Doe hit it off. And Jane Doe actually started messing with Diddy on that trip, went off with him alone and did all of that in front of her homegirl, which caused a rift between her and her homegirl. So I'm gonna just say this. I feel like Jane Doe pursued him. What do you think, Trey? What do you think, Tulsa?
Yeah, I definitely can see. Oh, thank you. I can see that. I can see that. That speculation as far as her pursuing him. I did want to point out. Somebody also said it in the comments when you stated when you asked what can go on as far as sex trafficking or things of that nature in Turks and Caicos. If you ask Lisa Ray, she'd probably tell you just about anything. Because remember, that's where her ex-husband was over there with allowing Dwayne Martin. And Dwayne Martin, and they was doing all that kind of stuff. So, I'm not trying to tie them to that, but these the fact that these areas are coming up are very synonymous with a lot of other tea. It's not it doesn't surprise me.
And also in Turks and Caicos, I think it's something that she mentioned about the flight manifest where it can go undetected and you can actually not list who's all on that flight. It's something crooked about Turks and Caicos. Y'all be careful going over there, okay? But Tulsa, what are your thoughts?
Yes. So when I think about the Turks and Caicos, I automatically think Epstein Island, allegedly. And also, yeah, to our brother's point, Lisa Ray was over there and she wasn't even respected in her role. So I think that money is definitely going to be heavy up in that situation. As long as you're getting paid off, you can turn a blind eye. When we think about turning a blind eye, look at those people at the hotel, and they held that video for all these years. Those are my thoughts. Sounding off.
Excellent, excellent. Watch this. I'm going to blow y'all's mind. And I know we talked about it yesterday. So watch this. Jane Doe, everybody write this down because it's so confusing. It's so much information. And I'm talking for those of you in the chat that are really following along with this case. I'm just trying to be fair. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give y'all all the information as much as I can that you need so you can go down your own rabbit holes depending on what you want to focus on. Write this down. 2021, Diddy met Jane Doe. May 2021. Jane Doe, homegirl, was already dating Diddy, and she took Jane Doe and some other girls on her girl trip in 2021. Also in 2021, let me get my notes. Diddy's last, Diddy, man, when I tell you he got a roster, watch this. I'm finna blow y'all's mind. Also in 2021, under expert testimony, Sylvia Oaken testified. She's the lead marketing promotion director of the Beverly Hills Hotel. Diddy's last visit at the Beverly Hills Hotel was in 2021. Are y'all listening? Queen Tulsa, you following me? Trey, are y'all following me?
Taking notes.
Okay, got you. She testified about a sophisticated system that they utilize to track us in hotels. The Beverly Hills hotels use a system called OPRA, O-P-R-A. And the question was, the defense didn't even cross-examine her because she was an expert. There's no need to cross-examine her. Everything she said was factual and true. Listen very carefully. She testified that the sophistication of the technology is so advanced that even if you use an alias, they still know who you are. They still know who you are. She gave different aliases that Diddy would use. I'm going somewhere with this. He would use Frank Black. He would use Dominic. I gotta look. I can't remember. And he also used one called Philip Hines. Okay. They asked her and they put up the profile of Diddy, right? And this machine updates in real time. Okay. It doesn't care about your last visit. It's going to update who you with, what name you're going under in real time. And guess what? It doesn't change until you come back. Watch this, y'all. They said, why is the name Philip Hines? You just said, did he go by different aliases? If that's true, why is the name Philip Hines in this folio? They said that's the last name he checked in under. In the past, they went back and they would show his previous guest was Cassandra Ventura, right? In the past. We know that. He's been frequenting this hotel for quite some time. And I got to look at my exact dates because I have my notepad over there. Like a lot. Cassie got married in 2019. Write that down. In 2021, Cassandra Ventura was listed as his accompanying guest. I'm done. Was listed as his accompanying guest. Now, here's what y'all are going to say. Well, maybe he left her in there. The lady testified that it updates in real time.
Oh my God.
I'm going to leave that there. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to let our brother go and then I'll go last.
It's really, really telling. Honestly, it's not surprising. I feel like Although I'm pushing more heavily towards, okay, Cassie's in on it, yada yada, blase blase. I'm also seeing a world where Cassie is still under the stronghold of narcotics, and she's also kind of in a wayward area where she doesn't really know. She's married, yes, but I feel like her marriage was like a piece of an escape. Because didn't she meet this man? Wasn't he her trainer?
Yes, he
So
was.
he was assisting her with escaping, and even though she was able to escape, that doesn't mean that she was fully escaped in her brain, or her heart was gone, or her addiction to the fame, the money, well, really not the fame, but the money and the access that Diddy had. So I can see 2 years later him hitting her up, hey boo, what you doing? One of those types of things. And it becomes a situation where she finds herself back in that hotel.
Okay. Listen to this. So, go Queen Tulsa.
Yes. I want to say, in no shade, Cassie, you have whole type behavior. That is whole type behavior. If you got married in 2019 and then you're out here floating around with him partying, are you really a victim or were you complicit? And now it leads me to believe that, as your trainer, is that your new handler? Did money get, was money short? And hey, you better go out there and shake a tail feather. You better go over there and hang out with him so we can get some coins up in here. And apparently, in my mind, things didn't work out. So now, okay, bitch, you can't go over there and get the money. We about to file a lawsuit. I'm gonna go on mute.
Damn. I wanna say this. I see a question on the screen, but we're talking about trainers, and your thing was, yes, Alex Fine was Cassie's trainer, hired by Diddy. That's a fact. Okay. Here's the thing now. Y'all, did y'all know? And I just found this out. According to Jane Doe, okay, oh my God, I'm gonna play some stuff. The word entertainer, write this down, means something completely different in Hollywood than it does to us. So when they say entertainers, those are hired sex workers or something to do with sex working. Why is that important? I just caught a clip because that's what Diddy refers to when the male prostitutes are gonna come, right? Hey, I got some entertainers tonight. Bloop bloop bloop. Also, going off grid is it doesn't mean what y'all think it means in Hollywood. Going off grid means we finna be wild and free. It's no rules tonight, baby. We going off grid. That's the other thing you need to know. I saw a clip, and I think I have it, of Jay-Z saying we're just entertainers. And I thought, oh my God. I'm not implicating him in anything, but as I'm learning more about Holly Weird and what shit really means and how they hide things in plain sight in front of us, if I can find it, I'm gonna play it for you. And I'm like, oh Lord, please don't tell me he's a part of this in some way, not necessarily these women, but please don't tell me there's this whole ring of this da 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 da. But did you know that one of the entertainers, one of the sex workers, male prostitutes, actually became Diddy's trainer? Child, one of the ones that was freaking off with Jane Doe, Diddy actually hired him to start training him. I said, Diddy up in there checking that man out while he naked doing Jane Doe, was like, look, bro, I need you to get me in shape like that. That's the first thing. What are y'all's thoughts to that?
Oh, you can
Oh,
go.
I'll let our brother go.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising at all. Once again, like you said, he was probably staring at him and enjoying what he saw, and got some type of encouragement to get like such, to look like him. So he probably did. I can see him. That'll be the easiest way. But yeah, that also makes sense as far as the entertainer, because even when you think about some of the like exotic entertainer is another title for those for that in that particular profession as well. So all of this is just very much like I can see it.
Okay. Tulsa.
Well, you know what? For me, um, when it comes to Diddy and these entertainment and these situations, it seems like, he was living vicariously through Cassie or any of the women. It seemed like, when he would be sitting back, he would just be imagining that is him doing those things to those women. But I just feel like he's a freak, and I feel like his elevator doesn't go all the way up. And I feel like Janice Combs, I know she's going to come up here in a little bit, but Janice Combs, you did a disservice to that man. And I want to know, why does he need all that baby oil? I'll go on mute.
Okay, I can answer about the baby oil. We found out.
All right, sound off.
Okay. So, okay, thank you for saying that, because I probably would have never thought to share that. His infatuation, but I get what you're saying. You say, no, I know he likes it in free costs, but how did he come to like baby oil? That's a good question. The reason why he likes baby oil, they have to put on a lot of baby oil, lots and lots and lots. He darkens the room, and there's particular lighting that's dark and hues. I'm going to say hues of red, almost like a devil's den. Okay. Because of the lighting and how dark it is in there, he likes to shine. He likes them to shine so he can see them. And that's what Jane Doe explained. He want to be able to see you. And sometimes you can be in the middle of doing whatever. He's going to make you stop and reapply the oil over and over and over and over and over. So there has to be some type of historical context to that. I agree with you, Tulsa.
Can I give it to you?
Yeah.
Well, allegedly they said that when he was younger, his mom would throw these type of parties. I'm wondering, was he sitting in that corner, put his bandana over, and you look? I'm going to go on mute.
Wow. Wow. That's a good point. I'm going to dig into her because I need to know how he became that way. Another thing, too, is one of the male entertainers. So listen, y'all, you think you know, you have no idea. Do you remember the pictures that they released? I don't know if y'all remember. There's more, y'all, whose pictures they have not released. Now, immediately, they didn't show them to us. They only showed it to the witness, to Jane Doe. And as they're showing it to Jane Doe, I can see the prosecutions, not the prosecutions. I can see the defense's computer screens. Now, they did tell us, whatever you see, don't you go out here and tell it. So I'm not gonna listen. I saw their faces, and those are not the faces that have been released to the public. Now, my question is, why? How come you're holding those 5 or 6 and you're not you're not revealing their identity? What do you think that's about? For those of you in the chat, what do you think that's about, Queen Tulsa and Trey?
I'll let brother go first. Go, brother.
Honestly, I just feel like they are. It's weird because even with them withholding some of the information for the Jane Does, like I feel like there's something more behind it. But honestly, I can't put my finger on it unless they're trying to hold it for a later part of the case, or they're just not going to release that information at all.
Okay.
In my opinion, I mean, I'm about to blow y'all socks away, but when I say the other team and the people that could possibly be on that list, I want to say Desiree Perez was an informant, and she's working with Rock Nation. I'm going to go on mute.
Oh, okay. So that's the first thing I thought. Are we dealing with informants, or are we dealing with men who are informants in the underground sex world? Come on, let's talk. Are y'all right? Are y'all ready for this?
Let's go. Let's go.
They hid those pictures on purpose because you released everybody else's photos. We know who they are. But with these particular ring of men, because it goes deep, right? And somebody made a very good point in my comments. They said, there's no way Diddy can please and pleasure himself for 20 to 40 hours. Now, I've been the one since day one. Everybody's catching on now. I said, no. I think Diddy's into snuff. And maybe it's not snuff, but maybe he's selling his freak offs in real time, live streaming this shit to very, very rich men here nationally, globally, and international. And that's why it has to go for 20 hours to hit each and every different time zone. You get what I'm saying? And it goes for a hefty price, because now I'm starting to think about the Punisher. and how he has to dress in that leather dominatrix stuff, right? And you have to put on an act. So they don't just walk in, you guys, and get right into physical engagement. There is an entire buildup that they have to do for hours, dancing for hours. That leads me to believe there's other people that could be possibly watching this, and I wouldn't be shocked if Diddy had. Now, I don't think that's going to be exposed. Let me tell you why. Because I think whomever had access to this, we're not talking about HBO where you can go pay for a Netflix membership. I think there are rich, freaky, nasty men that were privy to these freak offs and that sat back and watched this shit, voyeurism from afar. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I definitely can see that happening. It's a strong possibility. I will also say that with the types of drugs or the types of narcotics that they were on and doing, a lot of times those types of drugs can mess with your psychological. And so you think that you won't be able to do certain things for a certain amount of hours, but if you add in some additional things that help you enhance your drive as well as keep you in a state of horniness or what have you, I'm not sure what I can say, but it's a strong I can see them having these sessions for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And you have to also keep in mind that there's probably breaks in between where they're ordering such and such and so and so and this, that, and the third. But I definitely can see them having tapes and hot selling it to the highest bidder, some live streaming and things of that nature.
All right. Well, listen here. I only have 4 words: recording, dark web, requests, and elite clientele. I'm gonna drop the mic.
There you go. Watch this. So somebody asked, was Jane Doe on drugs before she was with Diddy? This is so far. I feel like Jane. Okay. She said, according to her testimony, she had done ecstasy a couple of times. They asked her how many. She said 2. I don't know why. And she could be telling the truth, but let me tell you my immediate thought. She could very well be telling the truth. My immediate thought is she lying. I don't know why. I know why I thought that, because women lie. Hell, it's like, how many partners do you have? 2. When you know you done fucked 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know why I thought she was lying or why she didn't want that to be known. And she very well could be telling the truth. But for me, I sat there and I thought, I think you've had. So did he introduce her to drugs? He introduced her to a different form of drugs. And we're going to talk about that. She's done ecstasy before. She admitted that under oath, but she ain't never did his kind of ecstasy. Now, here's why you're going to say, well, wait a minute, Queen Shiiba, what you mean his kind of ecstasy? It's something. So Ray J, this is where I think Ray J is about to be indicted. Ray J is not important, but Ray J is a runner. He's a handler. Ray J knows where to go get these drugs. Whatever these drugs are, if you think about the Queen of the South, the Netflix special, Teresa Mendoza, when she went to Colombia for the pure form of cocaine, and you can only get it from the Colombians. Y'all know what I'm talking about? If you watch that, maybe not.
Absolutely. We following you.
You could only get it from the Colombians, and the drug was so psychedelic. You remember they either she took some and she the drug was off the chain, right? In Colombia and all of that. But these people were also into dark magic. They were witches, voodoo, all of that. Whatever drug and the potency of that drug, there is a supplier in Los Angeles. You can only get it from Los Angeles. And I know Ray J is the face of the handoff, but I don't think he's the distributor. I don't think he's the head of distribution. I think he's working for somebody, if that makes sense. Diddy has his own private jet. Diddy can fly anywhere, but these drugs came from Los Angeles. The girls would transport the drugs from Los Angeles to Miami. They would have to go to Los Angeles to pick up these packages, and so did KK. The drugs originate from Los Angeles. That pink cocaine, them pills, whatever it is, the purest form come from Los Angeles. So the big question is, who's the big handler? Who is the drug king? Who is the fucking Teresa Mendoza in LA? Ray J is a middle guy, and he's been named twice so far. He's been named twice on two different days. That's a big one in my head. The other one is what else did I write down? That's all I got. What are y'all's things about? What are your thoughts about the drugs?
I stated before, like a few days ago with you, that there was a man, and I have been looking for him, but I swear they have kind of swiped the internet, or I'm just not typing in the right things. There was a white gentleman that would hang out with Ray J,
Okay.
and he was perceived to be the main one that was dealing to a lot of different Hollywood elite. He was the one. Ray J was connected because Ray J was around Whitney Houston and some of the black people that I guess that they would peddle the narcotics to or what have you. I cannot find his name. I want to say it may be David Joseph, but I'm not 100% on that. But yes, like not too long after Whitney passed, there was a lot of speculation and a lot of stories and a lot of tabloids written about this particular guy. But for some reason, I just cannot find it anymore. They may have kind of wiped it clean or something of that nature. But yeah, you are correct. There is definitely somebody else behind that, and more than likely, there's somebody else behind him. Also, when you talk about ecstasy, even if you're buying it at a high price, ecstasy generally, especially in the 2000s, from what I understand, it's a bunch of jumbled up other drugs just put together. So a lot of times you may not know what's in those drugs.
That's
and,
true.
And I think that kind of plays into like the fentanyl and all of those types of situations where people are dying and getting into the hospital and things of that nature.
I think whatever those drugs are, let me tell you how potent those drugs are. She testified under oath, and Queen, you got next. She testified under oath she's done ecstasy before, right? But when they were in Turks and Caicos, the ecstasy that he handed her was so potent. They're walking on the beach, and all of a sudden, boom, she hit the sand. It was so potent, so pure. He had to bring her in and drag her to the villa and put her in a cold shower to try to get her back and what is it called? Reset her. Tosa, what you think, Queen?
Yes, thank you so much. I noticed that you had brought up earlier, the dark magic and then, the rugs, I'll call them rugs, in LA. When you are dealing with the dark arts and dark magic, people can be put under spells and they be doing stuff that they have no knowledge or will to identify. Now in LA, I totally agree. Ray J needs to be locked up because what he did allegedly to Wendy Williams, to Whitney Houston. Speaking of that night when they were at the hotel and at that party, everybody was partying and it was Clive Davis. So when we connect these parts, we've got Ray J, we've got Clive Davis, we got Diddy. These are all money hungry individuals. Let me tell you, they have given Ray J those scooters. They have given him so many things, but he's just not satisfied. And it's time for him to get his just due. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, good point. We're finna play a video on Ray J, and we're gonna play it twice. For those of you that are tuned in, naturally, what you're gonna do is what I did. I listened to what he was talking about the first time. I listened to the names he dropped the first time. Then I ran it back and I played it again. I started looking at his eyes and his behavior, and I said, he gone. Whatever drugs he's on, he's out of here. Okay. I think you want me to give my real opinion, or y'all want me to keep it cute like I normally do when I don't know people?
Baby, we an hour in. Give it to us funky.
Okay, I think Ray J is Huck. We're gonna start calling him Huck. Like Scandal. I think he's the Huck of the drug industry. I think he delivers lethal blows to problematic people. Wendy Williams. Who else? Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston.
I think at any time he can be called. Hey,
But
take
listen,
this
he
away.
was
Go ahead.
just saying that he was going to spaz out, or he was about to tell it all, because a blogger in New York that was covering a trial called him out on a national news station. And so
Right.
now it's going around viral that he is responsible for Miss Whitney Houston. And now he's saying, okay, I'm ready to talk. Well, let's go.
Well, he said he gonna leave the country. You better. Now watch this. Watch this. Hold on. We finna get deep. Okay. And reel me back in, y'all, if I go off topic. Okay, we're gonna talk about Ray J. We're gonna do, let me write it down because I like to say video. We're gonna talk about the video. We're gonna talk about potent cocktails.
And listen, while you're doing that, you said that he's going to leave the country. What I thought of, Russell Simmons. Okay, let me go on
Thank
mute.
you. Okay, for those of you tuned in, start making a note who left the country. Just even if it seems innocent, say who's out of the country right now.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Thank you. Who has Rosie O'Donnell?
There was another affiliated
Who?
music producer. Damn, I can't remember his name, but he had just started his own company, and as soon as the Diddy stuff started to come out, he had to drop, and I think he's headed over there with Russell Simmons. I have to pull him up. Hold on one second.
The Carters allegedly are in transition to move out of the country.
So just think about that. Everybody, okay, just think about that, y'all. Let me tell you why.
Oh my God, hold on, wait a second. Virginia Guffrey, remember, she stayed in Australia and now she's deleted. I don't know how that intertwines with this, but she was associated with Epstein. She knew a lot about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Watch this though. I'm going all over the place based on what we talk about. They asked the Jane Doe, and we're finna play the Ray J tape. They asked Jane Doe, how long did you date Diddy, Sean Combs? She says from 2021 up until the day he got arrested. Did y'all just hear me? Now, we do know that he was in New York when he got arrested, and they were going to give him the liberty of turning himself in. However, there was rumors of him allegedly intimidating witnesses. When they raided that hotel, they found women's clothing. Jane Doe, you get what I'm saying? Women's clothing. Somebody wrote in my comment, they believe that when the feds went there to wait on him in that room and raid that room while he was out, y'all remember he was out with them kids walking the streets in New York, that they took her out and arrested him. She was nowhere to be found during the arrest. They got to her first. Now, when I was in the trial, it was alleged that whomever was coming in to testify was being flown in from overseas. I couldn't help but to question and wonder, has she been placed in witness protection until she could testify so that there would be no alleged witness tampering? And I got to make sure I do not accidentally say that girl name. I have to make sure I don't say her name. And I thought that makes sense because we ain't seen her since then.
Yeah, Miss Bonquisha. Uh-huh.
We have not seen her since then. And there's a high probability that she could have been quote unquote overseas, but people forget about witness protection. People forget that these people still have people that work for them. And speaking of, let's go ahead and play this tape.
Stephen Hill.
This video. I keep saying tape, baby.
play the tape good.
I'm going to play the tape good. Hold on. I say tape all the time. Y'all give me a couple of seconds. We're going to pull this up. I want you to first listen to what he's saying, and then we're going to roll it 2 times in a row. Then I want you to look at his behavior, his eyes. He's clearly inebriated. Hold on. Here we go. Let me know, panel, when you can see it, and I'll go ahead and get it started.
Okay, we can see it.
Yes, I can see it.
All right, we can see it. Here we go. I'm gonna mute up.
I slept with Sexy Red, nigga. Stop playing with me, nigga. You can clip that all you want to, nigga. Empty the clip, nigga. Talking about our party with Sexy Red, nigga. I slept with Sexy Red, nigga.
Ask her. That's on the dead homies, nigga. I slept with her, nigga. Yeah, my name got mentioned in the Diddy trial. What, you thought it wasn't? Nigga? Of course it did, nigga. What, you thought I wasn't that nigga? You thought I wasn't gonna be in there? My nigga. First off, I told you I wasn't gonna let you down. I told you I wasn't gonna let you down, right? Now look, nigga. At the end of the day, I bet 40 niggas $50,000 that I was gonna be in the trial, nigga. Now what? You know what? I don't think you need to block the Whitney stuff. Just let it live, man. I don't care. You know, I just, it's insensitive, but it's a story that people are making up. It's just way out. It's just, you know, I mean, at some point, I need to just understand where it's coming from when somebody was just not fair, you know. It's not okay. To blame me or accuse me for some shit that I just wasn't even around. I wasn't there, wasn't around. I'm like a little kid. Like, really? You guys are bad wankers. What? I slept with Sexy Red, nigga. Stop playing with me, nigga.
All right, panel, let's get your reaction in real time to this very bizarre display of, I don't know what, I just say a clap back.
Brother, take the floor. I'm going to go last.
You know, to be honest, all I was thinking about as he was speaking was, I wonder if Sexy Red, which lip gloss was she wearing? Was it the gonorrhea? Was it the syphilis? Was it the HPV? And I'm a mute. I'm mute. I don't know.
Thank you so much. My thing is, what does Sexy Red have to do with this? And a lot of people are saying, you know, he's bragging about her, but I feel like she's an industry plant. Look at the rhetoric and the just the slutty behavior that she's passing off to younger generations. Ray J also mentioned that he's that jigger. I mean, what do you mean? When I think of I'm that jigger in the hood, that means that you are running stuff. You have connections.
Yeah.
He also may mention, I told you I wouldn't let you down.
Yes.
That seemed like a message to the higher ups.
Yes.
Um, when he also said, don't block the Whitney story, let it live. Well, he's got to let it live because that's what keeps him relevant, and they're siphoning her energy. Uh, and then he also said that, you know, when everything had took off, he wasn't there and he wasn't around. So whenever she got that dose, he wasn't there, he wasn't around, and there was a fight in there. Somebody put their hands on Miss Whitney Houston.
Oh.
Yes. So that's just what he said. That's what I gathered from it. That's what the spirit says. So I'm gonna go on mute. Let me drop the mic.
Okay. Great.
He wasn't
Excellent.
there
Go
because
ahead, Fred.
he wasn't there because allegedly it was Raffles Ben Axel that sold her or gave her that booger sugar. And he might not have been there when she took it and or when she fell and however, you know, she exited this earth. But allegedly he was there to help clean it up.
I
Okay.
told you I wouldn't let you down. That's where that statement comes in.
Yeah. Watch this. The first thing I thought was, who is he talking to? He's clearly sending a message. I don't think Sexy Red is a casual mention. Now that I know how these celebrities communicate, and I'm in this courtroom, and shit that I'm learning now that we've seen years ago, but we weren't able to put the dots together, and we're sitting there supporting, and we have no idea because we're on the outside looking in. He just name dropped her for a reason. The $1 million question is, what's the reason? Does that make sense?
It makes
Brother.
sense. She's well, I don't I feel as though she could be one of the entertainers
Mm.
because her music is not going anywhere, but she's still around, and
Okay.
you see her around with a lot of different other male, rappers and things of that
Yeah.
nature.
It's something. What I was like, now that I know now, and let me tell you something. Any other day I wouldn't, I'd be like, oh, he slept with Sexy Red. I'd be like, nah, he's calling out names for a reason. This is now that I'm in this damn courtroom and I'm like, these people really are weird. These people really are dark. And no matter what side of the fence you stand on, when they're dropping names, it's strategic. It's for a reason. Only they know what it means, and only the person knows what it means. And it's not
Sister,
actually what, huh?
I just had a revelation. Okay, so when we think about Sexy Red, what do we think about? The I'm on my cycle, do it to me, or I got this yeast infection or this gonorrhea. When we really pay attention to these court documents,
Jane
these
Doe
are
had
the
all of
traumas
it.
that the girls were going through.
Yes, Jane Doe had to prove to him she was on her cycle to get out of freak offs. She also began to uh 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 y'all help me. She also began to not attract, but be she started to have yeast infections,
Yeah,
casting
she started to have UTIs and things like that. Things started happening to
had
her
stuff in
body.
her mouth, you know. So
Contracting.
listen, y'all need to go down the rabbit hole with Sexy Red. Who is she signed to? Like, don't just look at Sexy Red. Look at who's behind Sexy Red. Look at the record label. Dig on, is the record label actually the record label or an umbrella, or is it the umbrella? Or is there another? Start digging and it's gonna all make sense, and see who you can tie that back to. If you come up with something good, send it to me so I can cover it. Send it to me so I can cover it. There's something. He's mentioning her name for some reason. Why? Don't nobody like their name mentioning bullshit. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's go to the next video.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know. You think you silent treating me, and you think I'm gonna be nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence, and ain't nobody threatening you. And I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no motherfucking games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you could be mad. I could have a spat. We could have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. So either you go in the direction of like moving on and shit like that, or you like just like have me just keep moving. Ain't no threat. I'm just being clear. I can't do this shit with you every time you get upset. Hey,
All right. So that's the first. Let's listen to it again, and I'm gonna pause it and interpret what I'm hearing, not only from him, but also now that I'm getting a better feel of her in real time in the courtroom. And I'm also at the end going to allow the panelists to weigh in and what they think.
I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all.
So at one point, Jane Doe testified that she and Diddy didn't talk for 12 days because after the 30-hour freak off, which was her birthday, and that's when she slept with Leo. Now, if you like, hold on. Give me 1 second. If you'd like, I can read you that transcript. I think I have it. I have it right here. Or maybe I'll read it afterwards. She wanted a relationship with him. And she did a 30-hour freak off on her birthday. She flew to Miami to be with him. They asked her, what were your expectations? And she said her expectations were to, go be with her partner. She refers to him as her partner. They would probably have dinner, make love, have some fun, and that's it. She said that they had dinner at the hotel. For me, that was odd as a woman. Let me tell you why. and most people may not get this. A man of that caliber, when he feeling you, he finna roll out the red carpet. Number one, we don't even, most of them don't even want to be seen in a hotel like that. You get what I'm saying? Out in the open, that people even know I'm here if I'm about to do a freak off. So she said they had dinner in a hotel. I still got to figure out why that's odd to me. It was odd. And of course, the dinner, it was nice. And at one point, he mentioned, all right, I got some entertainers. Entertainers are prostitutes, the male prostitutes. They were always paid. Diddy never paid. It's important for me to mention, to my knowledge, he never paid them directly. The girls would have to pay the men, and then he would reimburse them. Make note of that. And she said, entertainers, it's my birthday. I don't want to do that tonight. You promise. He said, come on, loosen up, basically. I just want to have some fun. So they ate. They go back to the room. And the entertainer this particular night, his name was Leo. Now, this guy y'all have not seen because they kept this photo private. We've seen some of the other guys. This was a white guy. And when I tell you, when I got a glimpse of the photo, and not because they showed it to the entire courtroom, I was being nosy and I hurry up and looked at their computer. He looked dirty. He looked scruffy. They were recruiting these men from a website called Cowboys and Angels and also from Craigslist. When Leo came in, she asked for Leo comes in and she hinted to Leo, there are condoms in the chair. Diddy didn't like that. Diddy did not like that. And I guess Leo was going to go reach for a condom. Diddy comes in the room like, hey, what's up? What y'all doing? And she's like, condom. And he was like, if you don't get the touching yourself, they asked her, what does that mean? When he said, if you don't get to touching yourself, she said, that means move on, go to the next step. Okay. So they do this. She's with Leo. But before she's with Leo, I guess she's not being cooperative by her facial expressions. She's not pretending or acting like she's into it. Diddy becomes visibly disconnected. She said he began to browbeat her, pace in and out the room. He made it very according to her, non-verbally, he made it known to her he was disgusted with her. He started treating her cold. And her and Leo did it. When Leo had on the condom, Diddy wasn't happy about it. They finished. The escort was allowed to leave. For those of you that are not on my channel, if you haven't heard before, I told you he would purchase 2 rooms in the same hotel. One for the freak-offs, and when they're done, they go to a different room to act like normal Christian loving people. Normal Christians. I'm being silly. Normal people. They asked her what was in the room. Y'all, why did he have birthday stuff in the room? He had balloons, cake, champagne, gifts. He bought her a very nice, expensive bracelet. They go out that night. They go to a club. They come back to the room. Diddy had 3 entertainers. And that's when she pulled a 30-hour freak off. After the 30-hour freak off, Diddy had the nerves, according to her testimony, to get the hell up and leave. Okay. She didn't know where he was going because he lied to her. She found out on social media that he was with Young Miami and had flued Young Miami off to Turks and Caicos. At that point, she became enraged with him, confronted him, and that's what this voicemail is about. They had 12 days of not talking. She put him on silent treatment. She told him, don't ever call me again. You're going to miss me. You lied to me. How dare you? You're romanticizing her. You're showing her love. All I wanted for you is to take me back to where we started when we were in love and when we were having date night. Things were beautiful between us. All you do to me now is you have me in these hotels for 3 and 4 days at a time, no sleep, drugs, and I'm doing all these men for you, and this is how you treat me. Let me pause. Tosa, Trey, what are your thoughts?
Brother, go first because I'm gonna be driving a plane. Go ahead.
Okay. The first thought when I listened to him, I don't know if it was my audio. I don't know if anybody else heard it, but he sounded extremely inebriated. It was very much of a slur in some of the words. He couldn't even get one of the words correct. I couldn't remember which one. Also, to me, it sounds like she got hustled. He took her to dinner in a hotel. It might have been a nice hotel, but it's a hotel. It's
Thank
more
you,
than
Trey.
likely still a low-key situation where it's probably nice and dim lit and flowers and a nice accoutrement and ambiance. But at the end of the day, she was fooled by the fact that they were sitting around, a bunch of people more than likely sitting in the lobby or
Yes.
coming to town to visit their family. Ain't nobody checking for them. I also wanted to know if I could ask you a question
Sure.
about Leo.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Did he have a big nose?
Ah, shit. Ask me about his hair. I
We
remember.
can't verify or
You know
we
what?
can't
We cannot
Okay.
confirm or deny. Okay, you're
or
right.
deny.
Okay. Well, I
No,
will
but I
say
was
this.
about to walk. Thank
I
you,
typed
Tulsa. I
in.
was about to walk right into that. I
My
forgot the
bad.
judge
My
said
bad. I'm
twice.
bad. I am so
Are
sorry.
you good? But
All I
listen,
will
PR
say
is
is that
on deck.
all I will say is that I'm the only reason that I asked is that I typed in the name and the organization, and somebody popped up. Also, I did want to also kind of add to the hustle that he played her. I
well,
was
tell me
I
what
was
you think about Leo. Start there.
he was just another he was just another, another piece, just like all of them. I just feel like Leo is he's something that Diddy likes to look at. I feel like Diddy is struggling with maybe his sexual fluidity, or he
Okay.
might be struggling with his Tootsie Roll. I have no
Okay.
idea. But what I will say is that it's unfortunate to hear these stories being told by multiple different women how they're getting fooled.
I will
She
say
walked
this.
out of that. She walked out of that 30 hour freak off
Break off.
into a room full of presents, gifts, balloons, cakes, or what have you. My first thought was, I wonder which assistant ordered that stuff for her, because that's
KK.
all that was. Oh, okay, so it
KK.
was KK. Okay,
She said that.
and that was just another ruse to get her all excited and thinking something was going to happen while he snuck out the back door to go sit
Yes.
and fool la la with Young Money or Young Miami.
That's correct. Now let's be clear, because some of you said in my comments he locked her in a room. He did not lock her in the room. He left her in the room, and she was upset because she said she and they read the text message. She said, "You left me and you lied to me. All you had to do was keep it real." And I'm just paraphrasing. You lied to me and you took her on vacation. And not only that, I had to find out via social media. She's talking about Miami. And if I'm correct, Miami's birthday is on February 11th. Her birthday is just a few days before Young Miami's birthday, either February 7th or February 8th. So what seems to happen is after a while, he ain't checking for them. You don't get no more trips. You don't get no more public affection. We can eat in a hotel. And I'm going to show you an example of how I feel like I strongly know Miami, Young Miami. Everybody keeps saying they mad because he treated her better. No, because you hear her begging for a trip after a while.
She got the same. She got
Treatment.
the same treatment because they're dealing. Not only are they dealing with a narcissist, they're dealing with an addicted narcissist. When you are addicted to drugs that are making you that are enticing or enhancing your stimulating your horniness or what have you. I don't know what I can say on here, but when you getting riled up all the time, he's one of those. It's come on to the next. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
On to the next. I have conquered this mountain. On to the next mountain. Let me see how far I can climb up with this one, and I'm pretty sure I can get pretty far up to the top because I got all the money in the world and all the access in the world to fool these women.
And
Period.
it's keep in mind the escorts were not allowed to do drugs, which is why I believe the freak off sessions lasted so long, because they would bring men in after man after man after man after man. Queen Tulsa, what are your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. Just make that Tootsie Roll, okay? First of all, when I was listening to when I was listening to Diddy on that, he says some key words: disappear, silent night. And when he says silent night, I was thinking of Kim Porter, because just a month before her unalivement, he had bought her a gold casket. Um, and then he also mentioned job and no choice. And then he says, you're moving on. So with that, I dissected that, okay, bitch, you ain't got no job. You ain't got no choice. And how you gonna move on? And then he was giving her the heads up that the feds are on his rear, right? And then let me see. So dinner at the hotel, what I perceived was, them having dinner in the hotel was for him to see any potential prospects for the entertainment that he had already set up for her. At the birthday dinner, he made her feel special, and then, after a few drinks, baby, I got some entertainers for us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And instead of the reaction that he was looking for was for her to say, yes, daddy, let's do it. But no, she gave some attitude.
Yes.
And so I feel like that's why he left her the next day and went to Young Miami, because, okay, I'm gonna let you have this a little bit, but you just wait until I lay this up on you tomorrow when you wake up with a wet arse and me not in sight. Shout out to KK for making it possible to take this other woman down. I mean, she skinned and grinned in your face. She wasn't your friend
At all.
I'm gonna go on mute. Mic drop.
At all. And I do want to say this for those of you that are asking, and I'm only writing my notes as there's so much, y'all. So let me be honest with you. I don't cover everything. There's some things I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it. It's not important. But if it comes up later on in a conversation where we're just naturally talking and or dialoguing, I'll bring it up. So for those of you that are asking about Diddy and men, I do believe Diddy likes men, because Jane Doe did testify under oath that Diddy would have her get photos and videos of the male entertainers' genitalia. He wouldn't ask for it directly, but she would send it to him so he can look at it and enjoy it. So he can look at it and enjoy it.
He got a middleman for
Huh?
the PD whacker. I said he got a middleman for the PD whacker.
I'm sorry, y'all. We have breaking news. Please do not type any of the victims' names that are not supposed to be typed in the chat, please. This is just we're just doing this for entertainment purposes, but we are not over here doxing anybody.
Yeah.
We are abiding by the court. Yeah, it is.
Okay, if my mods can just remove don't put the people in timeout, just delete the comment. They probably just walked in, so don't time out anybody, don't block anybody. And like Queen Tosa said, y'all, we cannot listen, and we want to do our due diligence of being respectful of the court's instructions. Look, they don't care if y'all do it, but they're asking that if I'm in the court,
we're not at liberty to do that, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. But y'all keep talking. Y'all go ahead. But yeah, Diddy does like men, and he. Oh, that's okay, Yasmin. You just got here. No worries, no worries. It's okay. We said it earlier. That's okay, y'all, because yeah. That's right. Y'all get off of Yasmin now. She didn't know. Y'all leave Yasmin alone now.
I'm like, oh no, we gotta abide by the rules. I'm sorry.
No, you good, Queen. I'm talking about the ones in the chat, baby. They'll start going at it. Okay, we good. Yasmin, you're good. Keep commenting. Y'all have fun in the chat. It's Mimosa Sunday. We're talking all things Diddy, but he did like men's. Okay, he likes men's, so he would have Jane Doe get what the freaky stuff from the men. And I think with the freak offs, I do believe, in my strong opinion, there's a live stream dark web, no different than child porn, where men go watch stuff. I think men were also watching these women being in these grueling sessions. Does that make sense? I think Diddy had a whole membership where you had to pay probably $20,000-$40,000 a month. Now,
so my question would be to you is, since you're in the courtroom, and you actually heard some of this testimony from the Jane Does, has any of them made any comments, or were they asked any questions about different electronics being in the rooms, such as having to put up laptops or anything like that?
He used iPhones. He likes to use iPhones.
Gotcha.
Yep, he uses iPhones. They asked him what was he streaming and or recording. She said an iPhone.
And may I jump in right quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to get on the Cowboys and Angels and the Craigslist, and how Diddy told Jane Doe get to touching yourself. And when he told her to get to touching herself, she should have known right then, you are disobeying this man. He don't give a damn about your birthday. He wanted you to come out here, pay these men, and get compensated, but you just couldn't follow the rules. And I think that was the thing with him. She knows that he don't like a combative woman. So what was it really that she was looking for? Was she there to get her a hotel tape where she could be running down the hallway? I mean, because you got to think about it. These people run in the same circles. I'll go on mute.
Okay. He was telling her to move on because he and her were having a non-verbal spat, going back and forth about her wanting to use a condom with Leo. And he responded, if you don't get to touching yourself. So he likes things to flow a particular way in the freak offs, and she was interrupting it, which strongly makes me believe there is an underground audience. And this was on live stream, and he did not want to be challenged in one of his sessions as the leader of the dark world. That's just my opinion. So when you typically things would run smoothly, remember, she's only under oath. She only testified throughout all of these freak offs. There's only twice she asked for condoms. One with the entertainer named Dawn, and the other one with the entertainer named Leo. She nicknamed Leo Chef. There was another, no, she didn't. She nicknamed Leo in Italian, the Italian. There's another entertainer that's a chef, y'all. Oh, do y'all hear me?
I like the way you over there scrambling and scraping those eggs. I'm gonna go on mute.
Pretty much. Hold on, you said Queen Shiiba, darling, overlay? What you mean? Put my overlay up? Gotcha. Yeah. So what are your thoughts to that? Like there's one that's a chef. Like, listen, baby. First of all, these men were paid. These men were paid to sleep with these women. These are regular.
But see, this is what I want to bring up because we keep saying that the guys were paid and people are trying to say, well, how is this RICO and how is this racketeering and things like that? Anytime that money is exchanged for services, right? And then you got to think about these guys. I know in the lawsuit, they had mentioned that one of the prospects Diddy got with his team and they got him on a flight, and how they would do it is, okay, he's going to be a prospect and he might be a future worker for the company, and they will book his flights, the individual's flights through that. So that's how the enterprise is in all of this. And then we have to remember, a lot of people are forgetting when we're talking about these rugs, we have Brendan Paul that was arrested. They were about to get on Diddy's jet to zoom up out of here. Remember, Diddy was trying to zoom up out of here, and then they no, come back down. We need you to land.
Brendan was actually mentioned. So she, and I'm not into this part yet, and maybe I'll do it on a different day. So she did provide a list of the drug dealers. Brendan was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan was one of them. So let me play something. Hold on. So for those of you that may feel like Young Miami didn't get that freak off treatment, she did. Let's listen very carefully. And closely. Give me 1 second. Go ahead, Trey, jump in.
Oh no, I was just saying she spoke to it on many occasions. She might not have said freak off, but she's
and what did she say, Trey? Didn't she say she was a whore on Jason Lee's channel?
She did.
She did.
Okay, let's run it down, because some people feel like, y'all, let me tell you something. There's no such thing as good treatment when you're sleeping with multiple men. But let's establish all of these women consented. Not one said I was forced to. So we start there, then we build off of that. They were very clear about that. Very clear when asked and questioned in court. Here we go. So wait, if it's a football team owner, hold on. I'm gonna come back to you, Absolute 72. Give me 1 second. I highlighted I started. Okay, here we go.
The craziest thing I done did some shit. At your mama house with a bad tunnel, come outside.
And then we went to Love Island.
Love Island was lit.
Yeah.
That's my favorite island. I want to go back.
Yeah.
You can take me back.
I'll take you back.
Boom. First of all, after a while, it ain't no more vacations. When she said this, it reminded me of Jane Doe begging to be taken on a vacation again. I do believe Love Island is what they refer to as Turks and Caicos. I could be wrong. Either Love Island is it has to be Turks and Caicos. I think that's what they're referring to. I could be wrong, but let's continue.
No problem.
Love that.
We go to exotic locations. We have great times. We go to strip clubs, church. I'm gonna give it to you honest. I ain't trying to be lying, ducking, hiding, hurting nobody's feelings.
Her whole life flashed in front of her eyes. Hold on, look at her face.
I look at myself like as a ringmaster.
The craziest thing I did some shit.
Look at her face.
At your mama house with a bad tunnel, come outside.
And then we went to Love Island.
Love Island was lit.
Yeah.
That's my favorite island. I want to go back.
Yeah.
You can take me back.
I'll take you back.
When she said at your mama house with a bat tunnel, come outside. Rick Ross was there, y'all. Let me pull up the tape. Y'all think it's a game.
Queen.
Rick Ross was there. Go ahead.
If I'm being honest, Carisha has a very, very, very thick accent and a heavy tongue. I don't know, maybe it's the way that I'm hearing it. I'm not hearing tunnel. I'm just hearing her say, I was at your mama's house with a bat, telling him come outside.
Okay.
That's what I hear. It might be back tunnel, but I'm hearing her say she had a bat in her hand telling him to come outside. Like I'm threatening, I want you so bad. I need you to come out.
Right.
Or I'm gonna hit somebody.
I'm feeling you on that. She showed up at his mama's house. Okay, where's this dude at? I'm assuming in my mind that she had got something and he didn't tell her. Who were you with? Why would I show up with a bat at my man's mama's house?
Damn.
I'm gonna go on mute. Drop the mic.
No. Hold on. Y'all might be right because let me find it because I have the video of her at his mama house. Can y'all give me 30 seconds?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, chat. We're gonna go into a 30, maybe 60-second break. Everybody step away, stretch your legs. We'll be right back.
You all should be ashamed. How can you drink right after a funeral? Like this? Give me another one, then, Brady. Fred Sanford, you just left the house of the Lord, and now I'm in my house. All y'all ought to be ashamed, drinking like a school of fish. My Bible says, be not drunk with wine. What does it say about scotch? Listen. Yeah, so why'd you go someplace else? Why'd you go ugly up somebody else's house? Who you calling ugly, sucker? You.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I am still looking for this Rick Ross video. Give me 1 second. Listen, we're gonna wrap up here just momentarily. I am trying to find this video, but let me play. In the meantime, let me play another clip by Carisha that we reviewed yesterday. And some of you probably were not here, but listen, she was not exempt from the freak offs. Okay, I'm gonna just let you know that is a requirement. That is a requirement from Diddy. And as a matter of fact, you have to look a certain way and make sure you keep yourself. He said, keep yourself under oath. That's what the Jane Doe testified. His exact words, make sure you keep yourself put together because he can call you at any time. He don't like his girls looking raggedy. Here we go.
How many rounds you be going?
You know.
The people don't.
You know though.
I know, but the people don't.
Okay, so
I'm asking for the people.
What's the answer? What's the answer?
Baby, let me tell y'all something. On the witch yacht. This nigga don't go to sleep. I be like, God damn. How many rounds you be going?
You know.
The people don't.
You know though.
I know, but the people don't.
Okay, so
I'm
what's the answer?
asking for the people.
What's the answer? What's the answer?
Baby, let me tell y'all something. On the witch yacht. This nigga don't go to sleep. I be like, God damn.
Shit, he wore Miami out on them freak offs. She thought she was gonna come in there and do a 1, 2, 3. And listen, no. No. Period. What are your thoughts about that Trey and Queen Tulsa with her divulging in a very playful manner? He don't go to sleep. I'm like, God damn.
It's really, really funny because I was talking to my friends a few days ago about Diddy and just the whole persona that he had back in the day, especially around that time that he had that show that Capricorn did, the I Want to Work for Diddy. And I think he was either it was like a name change going on at that time. I want to say he was like training for a marathon. But one of the big things about the I Want to Work for Diddy and the way that they were trying to train those soon to be or want to be assistants, the thing that was really, really big that he kind of made himself known for is always being up. He was always awake. He would go on different shows and tell people, yeah, I only take maybe 1 or 2 hours of sleep a day, and I'm up the rest of the time. And it's so crazy thinking about that now. It's like you were up because you was high. You was on some uppers more than likely. But that's what I'm thinking about when I hear them say that.
Tulsa.
All right. So reporting live, child. Y'all, trigger warning, but Miami admitted, she said, I done did some ish. And then she brought up Love Island. And yes, you know what? I believe Love Island is Turks and Caicos because if we're talking about Jane Doe got upset because Miss Thing was out on vacation, right? She was out there. She was having a great time, turning it up, and Turks and Caicos. And then so he says, oh, well, we like exotic locations, strip clubs, and then we go to church. He also said that he was a brainmaster, and what really didn't settle with me was her saying that she was at his mama's house with that bat. You know, it's like, can we elaborate on that? Because he really tried to brush over that, like, do you want to, he gave her that Ike, and he gave that Ike, you know how Ike would look at Tina, he gave her that Ike look, right? And so she knew to move right on. And so she was like, well, how many rounds can he go? And so he was like, well, you tell the people. And so she let it out right there. She said, baby, let me tell you, this nigga don't go to sleep. I'd be like, God damn. And so now I see why JT said, come here, Brittany. I'm in Lil Uzi Vert. Child, listen here. When I think about Carisha, I'm in Young Miami and JT. JT got the heck on. JT went to jail. She came out and listen. She said, I would give me a transgender before I go over there at Diddy's party. That's allegedly my mic drop.
Somebody Google Diddy, Young Miami. Was it Saucy Santana in Jamaica and JT? Google that and see if you can find it real quick and look at their faces. That was very sinister video. But let me play this with Rick Ross and Diddy at his mama house. Listen very carefully. You can clearly tell or assume that they are speaking in code, just like Ray J dropped Sexy Red's name. Here we go.
We just finished washing Carisha truck. Yeah.
Slippery soap. And Mama Combs.
Mama Combs convertible, brand new. Yeah. That brand new. That thing is pristine. Mama Combs, how you like the slippery soap? I actually.
Mama Combs, how you like the slippery soap? Why are you talking to his mama like that? Are you talking about baby oil, slippery soap? I don't know. Let's continue.
Wash the car because I'm supporting my brother. I'm not just buying slippery soap. I'm actually using it myself. So, just stay tuned to see Diddy and Rose wash.
I think when they're talking about slippery, whatever they're talking, whatever it is, they're pitching something to somebody. They ain't talking to us, which is why I strongly believe and suspect there's a different audience, right? Let's play it again. Hold on. Let me get a different.
We just finished washing Carisha truck. Yeah.
So we know Carisha's there. Rick Ross is there. He said, we just finished washing Carisha's truck. Carisha, Rick Ross, Mama Combs, Diddy.
And Mama Combs convertible, brand new. Yeah. That brand new. That thing is pristine. Mama Combs, how you like the slippery soap? Yo, I actually washed the car because I'm supporting my brother. I'm not just buying slippery soap. I'm actually using it myself. So, yo, just stay tuned to see Diddy and Rose wash.
This is so menacing and with a big question mark, because ain't nobody finna just be letting you chit chat with their mom like that. What are y'all's thoughts before we end on that piece? I'll play one more. Hold on, and then y'all give me your thoughts.
When I'm in Miami, I need anything, and I mean anything. We can't even discuss it. The things that this man is capable of bringing to you, but believe me,
we can't even. He's talking about DJ Khaled. When I come to Miami, he can give me anything. You can't even begin to imagine what he can bring. Let me start all over. Listen very carefully. Now that we know what this underground world looks like, let's go.
When I'm in Miami, I need anything, and I mean anything. We can't even discuss it. The things that this man is capable of bringing to you, but believe me, he has Miami on lock. But this is the love affair, baby. This is the love affair, baby.
Diddy and Ross and Khaled, they all gay. DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy? Yeah. They all gay? Yeah. Gotcha. Right.
Y'all remember Jonathan Odie? He said Diddy, Ross, and Khaled are all gay. Khaled, allegedly. What are your thoughts, Queen Tulsa and Trey?
I do feel like in the first video, they all just looked like they was high as a kite, higher than a giraffe's coochie. I will say that they were promoting, I think it was Rick Ross's soap in that one. That second video is much more damning, and it just kind of plays into what the gentleman that they just played said, that they're all, they're all on the other side, and it's very weird. I will also say that birds of a feather flock together, and I don't want to bring other people in this, but it's very interesting that we're talking about Rick Ross, who also dated Britt Eady for a while. But I'll leave that there, and I'll let.
Okay, very interesting. Queen Tulsa.
Oh, baby. Thank you. You know what? That's why I love going third. Listen here. So it was Carisha, Mama Combs over there. They were getting their car washed. But the slippery soap, I was thinking that maybe, okay, now they got a slip and slide. You know what I'm saying? Now we got some soap that's going to make these slip and slide down the slide. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I want to say Janice, the madam, Young Miami met her real street B. She met a real street B that day. Okay, when she rode up to Mama's Combs' house, now that's the real madam, that's the real pimp, and she's about that life. And I want to say on that day, Mama Combs let Young Miami know that she was a young B, and you not about to be coming over here trying to roll up on my son. I'll delete your A, and I got every right to, and who gonna say something about it? So her mother wasn't there. Young Miami rolled by herself. But I want to say, Carisha, where your mama's brain at? Ain't no way I'm about to sit out here and let my daughter act foolishly. This man has not married any of these women. Let's talk about it. Like I'm just, it's like when you need your support, like Young Miami needs a support system. And if she is not dealing with this man, hopefully she's not, because some of the girls are still interested in him. And believe it or not, some of these girls still have a love for him. I want to say Cassie still has a love for him, because this woman got married in 2019. And on those hotel records, it said that she was at that hotel in 2021. I'm going to drop the mic.
Bam. Bam. And real quick, I'm going to show you. I'm going to run one more video and we're out of here. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. We're about to wrap up. I just saw one more video that I want to share. And I'm not going to even I don't want to skew your opinion. For those of you that are tuned in or on the chat, just watch the video. When the video is over, just type in the chat. I'm not going to even give my opinion. And Tulsa, you're going to go first this time. Tell us what immediately comes to your mind. Y'all ready?
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Good, baby. I'll be with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
Good, baby. I'll be with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
That's Diddy and his mom. I didn't have the
Okay,
full
so
video.
what I'm getting is I love you, baby. That FO last night was off the chain. You had Mama's coochie in her throbbing, and I don't want that flicker no more. I need me a big, strong type man, and I don't want Cassie to pick him out. I want to be able to pick him out this time. But listen here, I love you. Give me some smooch, and Mama done taught you right. Listen, remember when you used to sit over there in that corner and watch Mama grind it on that, baby? You done made Mama proud. You done did your big one.
Oh,
Let me drop the mic.
right. Trey.
You know, Queen Tulsa just kind of, you know, she said what she said, and she kind of took it home. I will say that what I'm thinking is that the hard life, hard drugs and the soft life will never mix. It will never mix. And that goes out to everybody who thinks that they will be able to achieve a soft life for a long period of time using hard drugs. That's all I have to say.
All right. I definitely agree that there's more to this than we know or would ever know. That didn't feel right, but I don't have the words for it. Everybody's different with their family and their moms and all of that. I will say this, what I've noticed in the courtroom, none of those women matter to his group or his circle. They are just pawns. They are just this and that. And it is what it is, because my thing is, that's what you sign up for. Nobody's being held against their will. That's what they sign up for. They want access to that. And it's sad. It's sad, right? We're going to come back. We're going to talk about it. But this was a hell of a conversation today on Sunday. We talked all things Diddy. I even had myself a good old mimosa. Did y'all have a good mimosa? For those of you in the chat, look, at one point we had over 1,200 tuned in. It was a great, great conversation. Oh, they say Trey fine. Trey, I don't know what's going on. What's going on, Trey?
I have no idea. But I appreciate it.
Danielle Colbert says Oedipus complex. His mama looking like the lady from Friday. Queen, I do. She does need to come to the front. She got a lot of not explaining what they say in the hood. She got a lot of planning to do. With a P. She got a lot of planning to do. So listen, let me get to my super chats. Thank you everybody for pulling up today on this beautiful Sunday. Thank you, Tulsa, Queen Tulsa. Thank you, Trey. Just, it was good. It was nice.
Yes, I had a fabulous time over here.
Super Chat Squad is in the building. We appreciate you, baby. The Super Chats are fire. Get in your bag.
That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Say it again real quick. Irene Bay, thank you for the 10-piece and the pepper. She says, we love you, Queen, and I love you back. I love you back. Barry Nisha coming through with a 4-piece super sticker. We appreciate you. Your Royal Highness coming through with that money comes to me. That's a 50-piece, y'all. 50-piece. She says, I'm doing my part to keep the Queen covering the trial. And she will, and she will, and she will. I appreciate you. Thank you, Queen Liz, my Scorpio sister, coming through with a 10-piece and a pepper. She says, thank you, Queen, for covering that. It's my pleasure. It surely is, honey. It is my pleasure. Let me see. I think I got everybody, but hold on.
Fine.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't even realize I was off of mute. Go ahead, sister.
Oh, okay. G Tina, member for 15 months, says, Queen, you are doing the damn thing. I appreciate that. No, thank you. It's my pleasure to work. It's my pleasure to work. And listen, y'all, I'm not taking a stance one way or the other, but as the testimony comes through, I am going to give you what the victims are the victims and the witnesses are saying. And then just run it down for you. Do I feel like the jury believes them? Do I feel like the courtroom is being swayed? Or are they scoring one for the prosecution? Or are they helping the defense? So who is that? Mind me up, Queen. Mike. Who is that? Oh, I see. I got you next time, Gently Coy. I got you next time. Girl, I got you next
My
time,
husband
boo.
taught me how to mod.
Yeah, I think they was acting a fool in the chat. That's my moderator's wife. She was
Okay.
like, "Mod me up. I got you. I got you."
I know
Gently
that's
Coy.
right.
Moderators, come on. I think y'all let one slip through a little bit earlier. Absolute 72 says, so wait, if a football team owner flies in an IG model for a bachelor party and they do drug, that's a RICO? Not necessarily. And that's the big discussion today. That's a great question. Absolute 72. Not necessarily. It's the prosecution's job to prove it. Who is still paying rent? Diddy's still paying rent. He's still paying rent for Jane Doe. What you laughing at, Trey?
When I read that, I'm just thinking something totally different. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Baby, I tell you, this case is something else. Goldie says, Shiiba, you say you think the government thought they may have a hard time with Bonner, but they still out here up there. Do you think that hence they have a good hold on, Queen Shiiba, you say you think the government thought they may have a hard time with Bonner. But they put her up there. Do you think that I think they're having to work with what they have, in my opinion. But you also have to keep in mind, Banna also has an open civil case where she's trying to get $10 million from Puffy. So technically, she can't really say anything to contradict herself, which may be the reason why we heard a lot of I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't recall. Because I be getting to the money. Everybody mad. Same old Banna from the block. Queen Leah's come through with a 10 pieces. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Yvette Yancey. She says, great job. Thank you, everybody, for pulling through. If I miss anybody, charge it to my head and not my heart. And with that being said, let's get the final thoughts from the panelists. I am going to let them go so I don't hold them any longer. Panelists, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I'll just say that once again, my final thoughts is that a soft life and hard drugs do not mix. I want to thank you, Queen, for allowing me up here to speak on this and join you once again. I really hope that you are able to stay for the rest of the trial or however long that you want to stay in New York, as long as it is suiting your peace and your comfort and your mental state. I really hope to hear more from you with this case.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Queen Tulsa, what are your final thoughts?
Oh, I'm sorry. And thank you, Queen Tulsa. It was a pleasure being up here with you as well.
I wanted to thank you too. I was hoping that you didn't run away. Thank you so much, Queen Shiiba, and thank you so much, Trey. This was a great engagement. I appreciate your royals over here, and it was wonderful over here in the palace. I know a lot of y'all had mimosas, but I was over here on water. How you doing? Yes. And so I will definitely be coming back. I enjoy this panel. You guys really get my brain to thinking. And this is what I appreciate. You know, some things we're not at liberty to discuss, and we appreciate you all for respecting that and keeping the show good. And like I said, I'll keep doing my homework and keep following this case, and also keeping Queen Shiiba in my prayers as she goes out and do this. You know, this is a big job. You know, I think that a lot of people think that, you know, being a content creator or being a journalist is easy. You know, you're having to put a lot of work into it, research, and also showing up for the people and delivering them, positive perspectives, and not really, you know, unbiased perspectives, you know, not really taking a side, but really delivering the news so you guys can really decipher from what's real, what's not, and how this case should go. My last thought is going to be this is going to be a trial where it's going to be an unpopular judgment. So I want us all to be considerate and be mindful of that as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you both for coming up. We really appreciate y'all serving as guest panelists today for today's discussion on Sunday, Mimosas and Diddy. Thank you, Trey and Queen Tulsa. We're going to let them go, y'all.
Thank
and
you,
I am
lovely
going
Queen.
to take a few of your comments. yeah, it was great. So call me, darling. Said this was a very thought-provoking conversation. Thank you so much. Unofficial Esquire says this Sunday recap was nice. Yeah, we try to make sure we make room for y'all to come through. Now, listen, let me tell y'all something. Can I be completely honest with you? I have my own thoughts, my own opinions, but I'm trying not to introduce it to y'all because I can be very upfront, very direct, but I'm trying to be soft, open-minded, a little bit flexible. But hell, I could go straight in if I want to, but I try not to. But every now and then I'll have a good time. It's going to change every day. Don't hold my feet to it. I'm going to come in the morning. I'm going to say, oh my God, this is what's happening in the courtroom. This is what she said, blah, blah, blah. This is how they handled her. Man, this is crazy. Defense 1, prosecution 0, prosecution 2, defense 0. Then we come back after lunch. Things completely change. So keep an open mind. Yeah. Killian, I hope I'm saying it. Killian 39 says, I wonder how many dudes she slept with. Listen. So let me run down the timeline. To me, what's more important, she met him in May 2021. About three, I'm gonna give you an approximate. About 3 to 4 months later, she was deep into freak offs. Early in their relationships, she sent him a text message. I think the intensity, the frequency was so much that they had a spat and they were going back and forth. According to the court records, she told him, listen, I need to take a break from you. This is too much. But she got back in the game. You know, he said you can. Now, keep in mind, I know people are saying that the coercion was the drugs, not the drugs. The coercion, the government is trying to prove that the coercion was you introduced her to this lifestyle and then you threaten to take it back. First of all, he didn't start paying her rent until 2023. She had 2 solid years of doing freak offs without being financially dependent upon him. Can we start there? He didn't even start paying her rent until 2023. So she was doing freak offs for 2 years, y'all. I got to give you as much factual information as possible. She could have left. And she chose to stay. The money, the rent didn't come until later. Okay? Diddy ain't no simp. That's all I'm going to say. So he didn't give her anything until a few years later, as far as paying her rent. Thank you, Southern Belle. She said she thought that video was weird between he and his mom. And I'm going to just skip through. I'm going to take 2 more and then I'm out of here. Let me see if there's any comments that I may. Let me see. Let's see really quick. And we out of here. Simple yet stylish says, I think Young Miami loves him and it wouldn't surprise me. They all love him. They all love him. And I'm talking bad. They all love him. They all will do anything for him. That's the crazy part. Brendan Burke says this Diddy case is because he sued the people Yes, I could talk about that. Should we get into the financials tomorrow? Would y'all like to? Brendan, you know what? Because of you, we're going to do the financials tomorrow. And what I'll do is I'll walk you through the transcript of Derek Ferguson, who was the chief financial officer of Bad Boy. And then he went on to become a different C-suite executive for Revolt Television. But while I am going to get into that tomorrow, I just want to give you a little bit of a heads up. Revolt Television is owned by Comcast, right? And what I found out in the court proceedings is that they have 5 seats. 5 seats on Revolt. 2 of those seats were secretly held by JP Chase and Morgan. 5 seats. 2 of the seats were secretly held by JP Chase and Morgan. You would know that because they operated under a different umbrella name. And not only that, they held 40% of the decisional power on Revolt Television. Keep that in mind. We're going to talk about it. Not only did he piss off the Ciroc executives, he probably pissed off who? The banks. You start fucking with the banks. The banks is way deeper than we think. See, Chase is a federal entity, right? Federal. Let me look it up. I don't want to be talking and be all wrong. Let me go watch this because I like to make sense over here. And I know some of this stuff some people don't give you because they've already committed to an angle or how they're going to lean in on their commentary. But yeah, hold on. JP, Chase, and Morgan. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. It's not a federal institution in the sense that it's a government agency. Not in that sense, right? No. Watch this. But it is subjected to regulation and supervision by federal agencies. He pissed somebody off. The feds have come for him. because JP Morgan and Chase is what? It's subject to regulation and supervision by federal agencies. So they have to cooperate. And which is why I suspect that immediately he gave over 100% of the power to who? JP Morgan and Chase for Revolt Television, which is why Carisha what? Lost her fucking show. Let's go. We gonna talk about it. Did Comcast have one of the seats? They had 2 of the seats. Well, I don't know how many seats. You know what? I got to go through my transcript. I got ahead of myself. Let me back up. That's a great question, Patricia. Let me write that down. Let me write it down so I can, hold on. JP had 2, which gave them 40% of decisional power. Let me write this down. Did Comcast have one of the seats? Great question. I like when y'all come with good questions. Did Comcast? And if anybody wants to research that to me, for me, and help me, I got a lot of stuff I have to do. Did Comcast hold one of the seats? If anybody wants to take the liberty of researching that and then sending it to my Instagram, put your name and I'll make sure I shout you out. One of the seats. Very good question by Patricia. All right, let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, Danielle says correct. He pissed off the bank, y'all. My question is why? Okay, now we do know. We do know he pissed off Ciroc because they got into a territory beef. We're going to cover that tomorrow about market penetration, okay? Thank you, Danielle. She says you're not wrong. No, I love technicalities. I love it because you can't switch it. There's nothing to argue about, right? When we talk about the technicalities and the facts. JP Morgan Chase, silent investor in some of Diddy's stuff, okay? Now they hold 100% of the power. The question is, Patricia said, did Comcast hold one of the seats? Yes. Your neck and your back. All right. Okay. Thank you, Nicole. She said, yes, a lot of federal payment systems is powered by Chase. Let's put that down. We got a lot of smart people over here. Powered by Chase. Now, have y'all noticed? Watch this. Powered by Chase. Do y'all remember between 2019, 2021, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, for about 5 years. Do y'all remember all of those do you remember the stories of these minority business owners that were working for themselves during COVID and kind of coming up with their own businesses when corporate America would not allow you to take time off, so people were forced to choose between going to work and leaving their kids at home by themselves or quitting and starting their own businesses? During that 5-year time span, a lot of people, predominantly women, Black women, started their own businesses. And then you would hear on social media that Chase Bank would freeze their accounts. Y'all don't remember that? And refuse to give them access. We're going to talk about all that. That's all I'm saying. When you say a lot of federal payment systems are powered by Chase. So it was Ciroc and the banks. Yes, ma'am. It was Ciroc and the banks. Yes. They're already trying to question his spending on prostitution, and that's what we're going to cover tomorrow. We're going to cover the finances of the enterprise, and Derek Ferguson was the expert witness. He actually did a really good job on the stand. Vanessa says, I love technicalities. Me too, because you got to stick with the facts. Me too. Thank you, Linda Gamble. She says, Queen Shiiba told us a while back. Yeah, I did, but some of them are new, so y'all know. So the people that are over here, they know about JP Morgan Chase. They know about Ciroc. They know about the war that Diddy was in. And y'all, there was a lot of money on the table. When I tell you it was raining money, it was raining more money, according to Derek Ferguson in his testimony. He said money was being made. The problem is the white folks did not want to share some of the market expansion with Diddy. And they were going back and forth, and the shit hit the fan. And we're going to talk about it, okay? We're going to talk about it, but let me go. I got to go. I love talking about this kind of stuff, but I don't want to hold y'all. You are free to roam about the cabin. That's it. That's all.